What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with another Tales of Crestoria video. I know I just about 12 hours ago made my video talking about the first look we kind of had. We obviously, like I said, we had no real information. We have this short 25-second teaser, and then we've got some character depictions. Obviously, these three will be the first three main characters, and excuse me. Honestly, the Tales fandom is kind of all over the place when it comes to this game, because there are people who already played, Link, Asteria, Rays, and there are people who played English Rays and then saw it get shut down. So people are really wondering, like, what can this game do that's going to be different to where this game is going to be so hyped that it'll stick around? Because we've got Rays, which plays exactly like a normal Tales game. You've got your four characters on the field, and you can switch between them. They all have their different art, stuff like that. Asteria, you have a team of 5 characters where it kind of is like Dokkan in a way. You just kind of move the characters around, and then they attack the enemy. You put them in certain spots, and they can defend or heal or whatnot. So what is this game going to do that's going to be different from those two games? And obviously they're not just going to recopy Link, where you had a team of like 9 characters, and you could, it was kind of like a Candy Crush type thing. There's really only a few things, because they're not going to make another action game because they already have Rays. So I think we can rule out it being an action game unless they do it as like a single character thing. So like, let's say for example you have one of these 3 characters. Maybe you only go into battle with one character at a time, and maybe you just fight hordes of enemies like that. I don't think it would really work for a Tales setting, but you never know, they could do that. And for that, what would worry me about this is, like, maybe these are the only 3 playable characters, but maybe they do something like over here, we have the Kingdom Hearts thing I pulled up, where in Kingdom Hearts, you don't actually use all the Disney characters for the game. What you do is, your Keyblade has the powers of all these characters. I think this would be a big mistake if Tales kind of followed that route, where the other Tales characters like Lloyd, Yuri, Flynn, blah, 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 are not even in the game, and their abilities are inherited through these characters. I think that would be a huge mistake, and I really hope they don't do that. The more likely scenario that I've kind of been talking with people about, that I've come to, now, if you've ever played Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, basically, it plays like a normal Final Fantasy game. You've got 3 characters here, and then you've got all your abilities. Well, you got your health, you got your abilities on the side. It's a turn-based RPG. I think this is the most likely scenario for this game, because we don't really have, other than Asteria kind of being a turn-based team thing, we don't really have something like this. So I could totally see, like, maybe we start the game and these are the 3 characters you start out with, and then kind of like Rays, you'll go through the story. I don't know how the gacha will work in this, because I don't think they're going to do 2 equipment gachas, so I feel like this will be a game where you will have to summon for these characters. There will be characters that will have different rarities. Kind of like how Legends is doing right now. Obviously, you start off with Shallot in Dragon Ball Legends. He's a free-to-play character, so it would be kind of be like that, where these 3 characters would be your free-to-plays. But then, let's say our first banner had like Lloyd, Soraya, and Yuri on it, and they were like 5-star units. And then you've got the 4 stars, 3 stars, etc., etc. And then what you do is, once you have these rarity of characters, you just build your team of 3. And, obviously you're going to want different, there'll be different types. Estelle will be a healer type, Yuri will be an attacker type. Maybe someone like Flynn would be a defender type, so kind of like a tank. But yeah, I'm just trying to kind of gauge, like, where Bandai is going with this, because, like I said, they're not going to go, it's not going to be 4 characters on a field like Rays, because why would you have 2 of the exact same game? And then, Asteria has been going for almost, 5 years now? So, people are speculating that Rays might be, that Asteria is coming to the end of its lifespan, so maybe this game is here to kind of fill that void. So, I mean, we don't even, I said in my video last night that, this game may come out as soon as, like, October, but I honestly have no clue when this could come out. you know, maybe the final arc in Asteria is right around the corner, and maybe the game's going to shut down after that, and then maybe this is what's going to fill that void, or maybe Asteria is not even close to being done, and it's just this game's going to be alongside Ray's and Asteria. But it's just really hard to kind of gauge like what the gameplay would even remotely be like, and why they're deciding to because a lot of people were like upset and kind of being like, oh no, is this the new Tales game they talked about at Tales Fest? No. They specifically said at Tales Fest that that would be a mothership console title. So this has nothing to do with that. This is something totally separate. Apparently there will be some magazine leaks, excuse me, within the next day or so. That might give us more information on these characters. But in terms of the actual game, we probably, like I said in yesterday's video, we really won't know anything about what the game is even going to be like until the 22nd, which is 11 days from now. Which sucks, because I really want to know what kind of game this is going to be. Because I'm going to play anything Tales. They could come out with 6, 7 mobile games. I'll drop all my other mobile games just for Tales ones. But I just hope they're doing something to where the gameplay for this game is going to be able to draw players in, because Ray's, some people like it, some people don't, because there are people who are really good at console Tales games, which is the same thing as Ray's, you know, it's the same combat, but you're using a smartphone, so it's a lot harder to use a smartphone and play this game than it is to use a controller. And obviously with a controller, you can have, you know, up to like 8, you know, 10 arts equipped at once, depending on which Tales game you're playing. Whereas on Ray's, you only have 4 on a certain character. And it's just, it's a lot harder for people. And then Asteria, you know, I feel like Asteria's, at least for us in the West, because I know a lot of people, because of Ray's, they switched over to the Japanese version of Ray's. So it's talked about much more in Western culture Western culture, it's not history, in the West right now, because people did switch over, and we did have an English version at some point. Asteria never had an English version, so obviously people in the West don't really talk about Asteria very much, other than the fact that it never got a Western release. So I wonder if Bandai of America is even going to consider this, with how, I mean, if they see their mistakes on what they did with Ray's, because for Ray's, I made a video about it, they didn't advertise at all. That's like the biggest issue, is that they did not advertise Tales of the Ray's English anywhere. Not even on their Twitter page. So hardly anyone knew about the game, so that's why the money wasn't coming in, because the only way you heard about the game was from hearsay from other fans. But it looks like this game is going to get a lot of traction. I mean, it's already got 12,000 followers on a Twitter that was only that only started posting about 12 hours ago. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. What kind of game is this going to be? What kind of gameplay will we see? What kind of gameplay would you like to see? Leave it down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel, and I will see you all next time.